Hi there, welcome to another episode of Sidekick TV. If you're watching this in the Business Lounge, welcome back. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And as of now, you might even be listening to this on Spotify. So, today I'm joined by Dean Percy from The Mark, which is a marketing agency based in the Wymack and services Greater Canterbury and further afield. I was very keen to have Dean join me on this topic of branding in businesses. I feel that we often cover off topics around TikTok and video sales and other new areas of marketing, and I think it's very easy at times to ignore the more traditional and fundamental aspects of marketing. So Dean joins me today, and I really enjoy his holistic approach to what is branding, marketing, your visual identity. So Dean, thank you for joining me.
Oh, thank you for the invite, Rick. It's great to be here.
Cool. And really, let's kick into it. So Dean, can you tell me about the power of creativity in branding and how that can give you an unfair advantage?
Yes, yeah. No, the topic is a favourite for me, Rick, and something we've built a business around is the power of creativity. And we see it as one of the last legal ways to get an unfair advantage. Why we say that is, we see a world that's a really exciting world where there's a lot of digital options. We've seen a democratization of media. If you want to create a TV ad, it used to be something that only a large corporate could afford because production costs would easily go into six figures, and then you had the media costs of getting on TV. We've seen that drop down to you can film it on your iPhone and then very easily get coverage, whether that's over TV or whether that's on YouTube or Facebook or various other medias. So that has the beauty of that is it's a great enabler. It gives small to medium-sized businesses, which we're really passionate about, a whole heap of tools to use. But what you're saying and being memorable is quite often a step that's missed, and we see the creativity and the ability of that to create emotions and to make your content really memorable. Equally or arguably, we would say more important than what platform you're on or who you're getting that to, because if people don't remember it and don't then choose to buy from you, it's largely all for nothing. So we spend a lot of time building a business around having really great, strong, creative, where we can think through problems and create opportunity that really engages with people, so that you do get results at the end of it. So that's where we sort of see a lot of the world turning around actually having meaningful, impactful conversations with people, and there's a heap of great platforms and different ways to do that. But if your underlying brand doesn't do that, and you're not memorable, then it's sort of largely all for nothing. So.
Yeah. That's it. We can be chasing views or stats, but it might not be delivering what are the fundamental purposes of our business.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't think many bank managers would advance a loan based on the number of likes. So, pretty important to think a bit beyond that. So yeah.
So can you tell me then a bit about how brand and strategy is a starting point?
Yeah, well, we sort of see the strategy and the brand as your compass. So I'm sure a lot of people would be aware that if you start off on a long journey and your compass is 2 to 3 degrees off true north, then where you're going to end up in a few years' time is, where you're going to end up at the end of that journey is going to be a long way away from where you want to be. The strategy really underpins the success and also informs what that brand needs to do for the business. We would say, and we'd see it frequently, that business isn't always easy, and if you're not in it for the long return, then or the long game, you might choose an easier option and not stay with it. So if you're really serious about getting to where you want to go, having a really informed strategy that can then allow a really great brand to be created is going to really be that compass style to set you to your true north. So we see that as really where where that a lot of the the value is created. So,
well, what is that process? So if someone's needing to get that compass aligned properly, what do they do? What does that look like?
Yeah, certainly. So it really starts with understanding the business and the opportunity. Quite often, it'll be underpinned with research. We would see some really great clients making a small mistake around assuming that they would be their own ideal client, and the opportunity actually looks quite different. So an outside set of eyes, sometimes there's a really good opportunity to do some research to make sure you've really nailed it. Sometimes you'll be able to source results through a minimum viable product sort of method, but quite often really understanding your market and where the opportunity is then allows everything else to be built out to speak to that opportunity. So.
And sometimes having that flexibility as well, isn't it? That typically you say that ready, aim, fire, and then there's a huge successful logistics company. I think is it Main Freight that says ready, fire, aim. But I think it still starts with ready. So you
need to be ready. You don't want to touch to that Main Freight example. You don't want a strategy of when there's lead in the air, there's hope, is there? You pull the trigger on the shotgun and then hopefully you'll hit something that's not necessarily the best use of your lead
exactly. So that engagement with you, like you say, it's that other set of eyes. You touched on something there that I think is really key. I've seen this for years. People build a business around them. Everything's geared around them. Their marketing is geared around them, but they might not be their target market.
Yeah, this is a really easy one, and I guess when you're really close to something, you put your own view on it, and that's where I think outside set of eyes can add a lot of value. In large organisations, quite often those people will already exist, but with a lot of clients we deal with in the medium-sized space, they are really working off their own assumptions, and checking them can unlock a whole heap of value. Yes.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah. And it's about identifying, I find, for a lot of these businesses. Well, I realise you currently serve all of these people. Who are your best clients? Who are your most profitable clients? Who are your most loyal clients? And they go, oh, it's this little subset here.
Yeah. And I'm sure, I think you've told me before, thinking around that 80-20 rule, and actually, a lot of your value is likely to come from a small set of clients, and we quite often see clients that their brand certainly doesn't help them, and that's why why we're so passionate about brand, because it can be that high tide that raises all ships. But where their brand and their efforts are really invested in the clients that don't pay the bills on time, that are tire kickers, and unfortunately their brand keeps attracting more of them to the business, which is becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, because then they get more of really bad clients, which then starts to drag the whole business down. And it would be quite common to see that happening, where people aren't focused on the opportunity and where that really profitable clients are sitting. Instead, they're getting new clients or increasing existing ones, but they're the wrong clients to start with, and that
they're spending all their time on the 80% of the client base, and they're trying to do that for 20% of the profit.
Yeah, and they're just I prefer to work smarter than harder, and it'd be we'd love to work with clients that would share that view.
Yeah. And so that's, like you say, that's probably one of the biggest opportunities, isn't it, with branding, is that you can be more focused, work smarter, work hard rather than harder, and get better results. That's the opportunity. What are some of the toughest challenges and decisions that you find around investing in brand or getting brand right?
Yeah, so businesses being open to the opportunity. I guess if we go back to that compass example, really having a focus on getting a great outcome, but being prepared to do the work. Brand isn't about buying pretty. It's about creating business value and doing some hard work for the business, so the people in the business don't have to do all the heavy lifting themselves. So it's about solving business business. It's about creating business opportunity, and it's it's not something that should be done quickly to get a pretty outcome. It should be done to create a business advantage or potentially solve a business problem in some cases.
So that, like you say, taking that time to actually calibrate the compass.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, it can be life and death of your business, can't it?
Indeed. Yeah.
And as some of those, how frequently do you find it where you perhaps are the bearer of bad news? People can love the brand that they've got, and you're there going, doesn't really resonate well with your audience, or it's the, this makes the delivery harder, or
Yes, yeah. I think we're not in the space of reinventing the wheel, and sometimes it is just a really light touch to, and maybe it's just it's part of the brand that isn't working well. It might be the palette's just not resonating with people that are looking to buy a premium trusted product, or maybe it's a typography that is just 20 years out of date, and it looks like that, and in the sector the company's in, no one wants to buy last year's model, let alone a product that's 20 years old. So it doesn't necessarily need to be wholesale change and reinventing the wheel completely, but it does need to be done to create value for the business and a defined outcome. And there's everything from a light touch, which is just fixing one of the brand elements, through to what we would commonly see where it is they've got this great logo, and the logo's not the brand. The brand's a lot more than that. The brand is how your clients perceive you and whether they want to buy with you, and it's your first impression. And commonly when you're looking for new clients, and getting all that right, I think is probably the bigger issue. The common issues we'd see is they've got this great logo, and then everything else falls to bits. So their website doesn't reflect the values that are baked into their logo, and it's all over the show, and it doesn't work. And then when they do a presentation to a client, the presentation doesn't tie in with their brand either. It's just a logo dropped on a template or something like that, and it doesn't work. Their vehicle signage, their digital campaigns, it's all disjointed, and then you've lost your client's trust and credibility immediately because it doesn't work together. And really what you have is a logo rather than a brand, and that would probably be the most common issue we come across, is thinking around their logo as their brand. And yes, logo is part of a brand certainly, but thinking wider around how people perceive you, how you're seen on all your different medias, so that people do build that trust, and people do want to engage with you because you've done it well. So,
look, that resonates really well with me, and hopefully none of my business partners / accountants are still watching this far way into the video, but having 8 accounting business partner buddies,
yep,
that quite often like to put our logo on something, and I look at it and I go, that is awful, take it down. Because the truth of it is as well, you sometimes, as a business owner, you want the control to be able to use your logo and use your imagery well and regularly, and you don't often want to have to pay the experts to do it every time.
Exactly.
But I see personally that going wrong all the time when we try and do it. So it's about refining it, having those rules, getting it right, isn't it? So
it is.
And looking at it going, chucking our logo on the wrong thing is detrimental rather than an event.
Exactly right. We see a lot of cases where in time back, they do have that, that great logo. They've put some thought into it, but then everything else just doesn't work. And I can assure you, it's not just accountants that are guilty of this. It's pretty universal, to be fair. It's just so disappointing because at some point they've, been engaged to a degree with doing better and getting creating a strong presence, but then it really has fallen off. We would more take a point of we'd prefer to teach our clients to fish rather than do all the fishing for them, and that's where getting some really great assets and some guide at the end of it frees you up to do that post on social media, because you know what you want to be saying, you know how you want to be perceived and what tone to use and how that imagery works, so you do create that trust and get that repetition of brand going. We don't need to do that. We can give you the tools to do that yourself. And we much prefer to take a more holistic view where these are the things to look for. We'll give you the tools to go ahead, and then let's catch up for a coffee or whatever preferred beverage is it when you get to this next level.
Yeah, perfect. And I encourage all small business owners to look at this and do this. And actually, if you run a small business, you've got a logo that you're pretty happy with, still try and think like the bigger businesses do. You don't need a 200-page brand guidelines manual, but you need to be conscious about how you're sharing your information.
Exactly.
And your logo. Like I say, use just a terrible stock image with your logo slapped on top of it. It's worse for your brand, not better.
Yeah, particularly because people's bullshit detectors will go off and they'll go, that looks a little bit like an iStock image because it's Afro-Americans, or it's Americans, or it's and it shows, and then normally subconsciously, but sometimes even consciously, they go, right, so you spent $5 or maybe free, you found a free image online and you stuck your logo on it. That's how much you're valuing
those
me as a client.
Pristine blue shirts and a very
we all know we've seen it, right?
No, awesome. Hey, thank you so much for that, Dean.
Thank you, Rick.
And look, Dean, some parting words. Where would you recommend someone starts on this journey now of getting branding right for them?
You really good one. I mean, the obvious one is have a chat. We love to be very social, but look, a good starting point for the journey is, I guess, really understanding the opportunity in your industry, and having some aspiration about where you want to head. Because if you don't have those two questions and answers to them, then it's it really is heading down the road of a pretty logo rather than something that'll actually deliver advantage for your brand. And there are two questions that need to be answered. So
perfect. Yeah. No, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Excellent. All right, thank you everyone for watching and listening, and thank you very much, Dean, for joining me on this video.
Thank you, Rick.